me and a buddy and his family went to see Dances with Wolves in the theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's old.
That is old.
They had an intermission.
Yeah.
We saw Dances with Wolves. And this is like the first time I'd ever been to a movie theater where they had surround sound.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I thought the fly was like following the production. Like, because I'd hear it all around us.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like on camera and it was like following the movie, right? So you hear it in random spots. But really it was in theater.
There's just a fly right there. That's funny.
But it never landed on anybody, but you just heard it.
That's hilarious, yo. First, I want to start by saying, I appreciate you being down to do this. This is the first podcast, first one that I've ever done. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. I really appreciate it. The whole point that I wanted to do this was because I wanted people to understand, like, the shit that we do and basically what it's like being in the sports world, but on the production side. If you don't mind, just introduce yourself to the people and tell them, who you are and what you do.
All right. So my name is Jan, and I do a lot of things. I do whatever's going to pay the bills. So
don't we all?
Yeah, man. So I run camera. I do graphics. I do virtual graphics. I'll A2 if I need to, and I run replay.
Sick. Yeah. So that's a lot, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So I want to start by how I met you. So I don't know if you remember, but I want to say the first time I met you was at a Hops game.
Yeah.
Right? But we didn't really talk because, you're there to do work or whatever. But the first time I met you was at the Blazers.
Yes.
And basically, it was my first time being at the Blazers. I was basically shadowing him for virtual graphics. And long story short, virtual graphics are graphics that are on the court but aren't really on the court. That's what makes them virtual. And basically, I was there as your backup.
Yep.
If you weren't there, they call me.
Yep.
Right? And so the first time, I'll never forget this, man. I walk in there, you're showing me like how to do it or whatever. I'm taking my notes. And then maybe like, I don't know, like 2 hours in, you're like, yo, you want to go around? Like, you want to see the Moda Center? I'm like, yo, yes. Like hell yeah. Like, I want to go out there. And so we're walking and you're showing me everything and we're meeting people and we're talking and I'm just like, this is nuts. So like, as someone who, you've been everywhere. Like, you've been at the US Open, NBA Finals, obviously Timbers, Blazers, like places here, but like, you've almost been like all around the globe doing this. So like, what's that like? How do you even get into that? Like, what's that progression?
A lot of this business is who you know,
right,
and like your connections, right?
Yeah.
So I got in because I knew somebody. And then once I started like getting to know people and working hard, when bigger productions come to town, like when ESPN would come to town or TNT would come to town, I made sure that I met the people that I needed to meet, so I could talk to them about, what's the next step for me? Like, how do I get to, travel with you guys? Or what do I need to do this? And
totally.
So it started out with like a Chinese broadcast would come to town and I was their local utility. And I was always the utility. So they would come, they would request me because I got to know them really well.
Yeah.
And I got to build a rapport with the ops producer on that show.
Gotcha.
And so
basically just walk up and talk.
Yeah, just walk and talk. And like, honestly, that's really hard for me because I'm not the kind of person that's going to sell myself to people.
Yeah.
I like to let like what I'm doing do the talking.
Yeah.
But in that instance, like I had to do that. I had to be like, yo, how can I get into this? And so everybody that would come to town, I'm like, yo, let me be the guy. I want to be your guy. And so that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. And so before you got into this, what were you doing?
I was working in a hospital. Well, all right. So like, if you super backtrack, I was working in a medical facility, and then like, my son was born, and I took time off. I was like the stay-at-home dad.
Got you. Okay.
So I wasn't doing anything at all, really, just like taking care of my son. Well, that's a lot, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah.
and so Barrett started doing the hops. Like he had just taken over the hops production. He was building the whole thing, and he and I had gotten to know each other because I was working on a documentary, and he was helping me out with the documentary. And so he's like, well, you want to come help out at hops? He's like, I need an audio guy, and you used to do audio. Can you help me out?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, sure, why not? I asked Sarah, I was like, I don't know, why not, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so she was like, yeah, sure, go for it. And so I started with the hops, just like so many others do,
Right. Yeah.
coming up through this, and like it just kind of snowballed. It went from like doing audio, and then he was like, go run a camera for me. So I went out and ran a camera.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Justin can't be here today, so go do graphics for Justin or whatever it was. And
You've never done any of that before?
No. Well, I mean, so I did audio for church years and
gotcha.
years ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's how I did audio.
Gotcha.
So I knew how to,
Operate a board.
run a board and mix things and do that.
Totally.
But, and then as a
But
photographer.
like camera, like.
Yeah. But I'm a photographer too, so like.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I understand like, framing and stuff like that for photos, but like
Gotcha.
video was a whole different thing.
Totally. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you get basics from photography, but it is two different worlds.
Yeah.
Similarities though in between, but that's crazy.
Yeah, it is a wild entry. And so like I basically just started to soak it all in. And then, I started getting asked to do more, and I told Sarah, I was like, maybe I can just start to do other things, outside of the hops. And so I started to reach out to like the local crewers and try to get in that way.
Nice.
And then I started doing T2 with Barrett.
Okay.
And so, because for T2 back then, we did like an actual 4 or 5 camera show.
Really?
Yeah, it was a bigger show than it is now.
Right. Yeah. That's
So,
crazy.
and that's where I got my in for soccer.
Wow.
And I started to move to the board show and do board show for them, and started doing like board show at OSU.
Okay.
And so I did all board show stuff for OSU for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How many years have you been in this industry, this game?
Not long though. It's only been like, so Oliver was 2016.
Wow.
No, 2013. So yeah, I'm just over 10 years.
Yeah, about a dozen. Wow. Well, that's crazy. And then you've gone, like I said, you've like ran the gamut on like things you can do in this profession.
Well, and that's like just been within like the last like 5 years, really. Like since COVID.
Oh, okay.
Really is when I started traveling. Like once everything came back, production started to happen. People lost their jobs or whatever, or it didn't come back because of COVID or whatever. Yeah. And so things kind of opened up for some people.
Gotcha.
And so when 10 Cent came back, and they were like, "We need people to go on the road," I was like,
"I'm there.
Done. I'll go." Like,
nice.
I was still doing virtual, but like, and that's why I needed a backup.
Right. Yeah.
I was going to start going on the road for 10 Cent, and so I had trained someone else. And then he got promoted into something, and then I was like, I need somebody else, and I knew that you had done graphics for Hops.
Right.
I asked Justin. Justin's like, yeah, sure, of course, Steven's great, and so we got you in.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, yeah, I mean that's nuts. That's what a lot of people hear is like it's not what you know so much, but who you know, and then you get to show what you know, and then you get more opportunity.
Yeah. And once you get that chance, then you got to show it.
Sweet. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We talked a little bit about all your really dope things that you've done. And basically my next question is, what would you say are like the highs and lows of being in this profession? What are your, like, these are dope moments, these are things that aren't as dope, kind of your favorite things to do, and also your not so favorite parts about this industry and also traveling, like
Yeah.
that kind of life? What is that like?
So there's a lot of really, really good moments. I mean, the fact that like we can make a living watching sports and following things that we love is amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that we can work half the amount of time as like other people working 9 to 5
True.
and still live is also amazing. But some of the drawbacks are like we don't always have work. And if you're in a small market like we are, you have some slow times.
Yeah.
And that's why I pushed to travel and pushed to be with some of those bigger networks, is because I knew that come April through September, well, August, I'm going to be slow.
Right.
Like there isn't a whole lot here.
The summer months.
Right. And so, and I didn't want to have to go find a part-time job, or I didn't want to have to like just not work and like put it all on my wife to like make money or,
Right.
you know, depend on unemployment or whatever.
Totally.
So that's one of the hardest things is like you have to be able to either stretch your money out for the rest of the year or like deal with not working. So
Totally.
there is a scarcity in that. The other part is like if you are traveling a lot, like, and if you have a family or if you're married, that's a whole other challenge, is like having that relationship and creating, you know, that life and not being home as much. Like there are guys that like travel way more than I do. I mean, I don't travel hardly at all.
Yeah.
But like there are other guys who like, you know, have to balance, you know, working on the road 2 days a week, like on 2 shows a week, which is actually like 5 days of travel
Wow.
for 2 days or 2 games. So, you know, that's a downside.
Yeah.
But really, like, to me, there were way more ups than there are downs.
Yeah.
I love sports. I love being involved in sports. I love, you know, being able to travel to different cities and like go out and try different things
Totally.
and see other things. And that's just awesome to me.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, like the travel rate's usually better than.
Depends on your network.
Okay.
So, like, certain networks pay better than others.
Okay.
And, like, certain travel rates are better than others. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, depending on who you're working for, you could get a full day rate for a travel day, or you get a half day rate for a travel day.
Gotcha.
So it just depends on what you've either negotiated or what that union allows you to do. Because in all of these, you have a union that you're joining also.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, you kind of go with whatever the union rates are, too.
Got you. And the union is usually a benefit, though, right? Like, pretty much.
For the most part, it's a benefit.
Yeah.
There are some that I'm like, I probably don't need to be in this, but like they're making me be in it, so I'm paying you.
Right. They
But-
get them dues.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Like, it's part of the business.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, the next thing I want to talk about, we've kind of mentioned it a little bit, but I kind of want to dive a little deeper into it. So earlier we described how, like, when I first met him at the Trailblazers and we walked around and we saw these people, and basically, I don't know if you remember this, but we're walking back after, and I'm like, yeah, man, that was cool. And you're like, did you notice the way everyone was looking? And I'm like, a little bit. Feel like I got maybe some weird looks. And you were like, it's because they're scared you're going to take their job. You remember that?
It's true.
Yeah, right.
true.
And so it's like, there is a scarcity to this industry, but at the same time, also like what we described earlier is like, there's an open-endedness. Like even this right here, like doing a podcast is different than working at the Blazers. It's
Right.
different from working at the Hops. It's different from my day job at Coin. So it's like so many different ways to make money and to
Right.
create, but it's also like, there's only 4 camera spots on this show.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? Like, so
That's
it's
right.
like- so it's like scarcity, but open-endedness. Can you kind of speak to how that dynamic works? Like how you have kind of both at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on like how eager you are, right?
Yeah.
Or how much you want to go get the next thing.
True.
So like if you are someone who is going to push and like get something else, like you can make it work. And
Yeah.
like you can create things like this podcast, or you can go and, you know, do other things. But if you're not, you're just going to sit around and like wait for the next call.
Yeah. Holding on to your camera real hard.
Yeah, just hold on. Be like, I'm one of the 4, and that's all I got.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I got a family. You got a family.
Totally.
You have to create.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to be able to push to get what you want.
Totally.
And so you can't just sit around and wait for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Do you ever feel like it's like too little that's happening around? Or
in this market,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So Sarah and I talk about feast or famine all the time.
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
in this business, especially when you're first starting out, like you get that phone call, you say yes.
Yeah.
You do not say no.
Right.
Because if you say no too many times, they're going to the next person next time.
Right.
They're
They're
not
just
going to
mark you off the list.
Yeah, like, yeah, he's never available.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, you're saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. Hey, I need a runner. Okay, yeah, I'm there.
Totally.
You don't even think about what the rate is. You don't think about anything else. You're like, yes.
You just want to be consistent at that point. Yeah.
Right. And so like in the beginning, I took every single job I could. Even if it was like I had something else going on, I still took it. Like here's a perfect example. Dan called me the day after my twins were born.
Wow.
He sent me a text. No, it was an email. And this is before I'd ever worked with our local crewer. He says, "Can you tell me your experience on camera?"
Yeah.
I write him back. I said, "Yeah, I have 60 plus games at the Hops. I have 3 seasons of T2. You know, I've done handheld camera for this, done this." So I listed out my resume. He goes, "All right, bet." He's like, "I'm gonna put you on a show next week."
Wow.
I'm like, okay. He's like, "I'm gonna give you your first chance at being on the big show, right?"
Yeah. Is this Blazers or
This was Timbers.
Timbers? Okay, I got you.
So the next day, I get an email. Ownership isn't really sure that you can handle being on the big show.
Wow.
Would you mind coming in and shadowing this weekend? Mind you, this is like 2 days after my twins. They're still in the NICU.
Twins.
Yeah. And they're like, I'm like, yeah, sure. So I go in and shadow and do that thing. And then I go home. The next day I get another message. They're not really sure you're ready to be on camera yet.
Wow.
So we're going to go ahead and rescind the camera job and we're going to use you as a utility instead. And so like, you're always fighting for your position.
Yeah.
You know, that was my first interaction with them.
Yeah.
And that's the way it worked out. And I was like, I still have to say yes to everything.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if I want to move up in this,
Yeah.
I got to say yes.
Totally.
So.
Yeah.
So you say yes no matter what. I got kids in the hospital. I'm coming.
Yeah. What? My mom's dying? No worries. I'm on the way.
I got you.
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it. I feel like I've had similar experience of like, damn, do I really want to do this when I got all this other stuff? Well, I'll be there. Like even Blazers, it's like, do I care that I'm only gonna sleep 5 hours a night? Nope, I'm there. Like,
No,
you
just do it.
Yeah,
And I did the same thing like last week, right? So like, I was in Boston Monday Night Football.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a game. We had a Blazer game on Tuesday. Our call time was 10 a.m. I was like, all right, I can get back. So I was on like a 5 a.m. flight from Boston to Portland. Got delayed.
True. Yeah.
Got delayed and finally got in at like 12:30 and came straight to Blazers.
Yeah.
I hadn't slept. I hadn't done.
That's crazy.
Monday Night Football wrapped at like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I had to pack and drive an hour to get to the airport.
That's crazy.
So like you say yes.
Yeah.
That's the key. Just say yes.
Just say yes. Just keep going. Just keep going.
You'll sleep later.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We'll sleep when we die.
Right.
Well, sweet. Well, we're going to take one more break, and then we'll come back, and we'll kind of wrap this up. So we'll be right back.
This is a Wooma Films production. With podcasts, films, music, and much more, Wooma Films is truly unlimited. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and Threads to stay in the loop socially. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Are you an artist with a really cool idea? Reach out to us and we will help you create the production of your dreams. Go to woomofunlimited.com for all your media and entertainment needs. Have you seen Wooma Films yet?
Just like as far as either this profession or just like what you want out of this life, like what's your end goal when it comes to this industry? Is it just continue to work, continue to see the world, continue to do dope shit all the time, or is there something else that you're pushing towards?
So I came into this at first just being like, I just want to work local. That's it. Like I just want to make sure I can work comfortably for like the year.
Nice.
And the more I started to do, the more I was like, I'm going to create a bucket list, right? So like, so I want to do, I've done the U.S. Open. I've done finals and playoffs. Was able to do the NBA Cup the first couple of years.
Yeah.
Done All-Stars. So I've done a lot of basketball. But I want to like do other things. I did a NFL playoff game last year. Like I want to do Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I want to do an Olympics.
Totally.
World Cup's coming. Fox, hire me. I want to do this stuff with, World Cup.
Yeah.
I'm a dude.
We're sending this to Fox when it's done.
So yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of things that I still want to do. Like I want to do X Games, winter and summer. So there's a bunch of events that I want to do. Aside from that, like I think eventually, like I would love to get to the front bench. I would love to produce and direct. I'm gonna stay away from TDing altogether because that's just way too much for my brain to comprehend. But like, I know how to count. I know how to tell a story. I know how to call out some numbers.
You count right now. He counts.
I count. I can count backwards from 5 in multiple languages. So like, we can do this.
Yeah.
But like, I would love to get to the front bench.
Totally.
I don't know how to get there right now. I haven't figured that out in a local market. Like, those positions are so hard to get, and once you have them, you stay in them.
Totally.
Especially in a local market. So like, I feel like my only way to get there is to maybe travel and get to know people on a front bench, like,
elsewhere.
Yeah.
And like get on theirs. Yeah. It is like it's not so much like a regular company where you start off as a dishwasher, then you move to like a general or associate manager and then general manager.
Right.
It's almost more like someone has to say, hey, this producer job's open. I know you've been working replay, but you want to give it a shot, and then you're in there. Like when I was working at PSU Athletics, it was more so like I had already did everything, and then Grady, who was over PSU at the time, was just like, hey, you want to learn this? And it's like, yeah, I'll learn how to TD. Yeah. But that also wasn't like, okay, now you got my job. You know what I mean? It was just like, at least you press some buttons one day. You know what I mean? Like, and so, or even at Hops, like, there's been times where Jackson will be like, oh, I got to go fix this camera.
Yeah, slide in.
Yeah, exactly. And then next thing you know, you're running the show for like 2 innings. But it's hard to get that job the whole time, so.
It's so hard. People either got to be fired or die.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's it. Like, it's so hard, especially in our market. If it was like, if we had a bigger market.
Yeah, like Vegas or what?
Yeah, Vegas, Atlanta, like Golden, like San Francisco, LA, New York, those huge markets where they have year-round sports and multiple teams per sport.
Right.
You have more avenues, right?
Yeah.
But even then, someone's still gonna die or get fired to get those jobs, right? So you go to like ESPN and you work your way up to the ESPN ladder, or you go to NBC, work your way up that way, and like you do things like AD, and then you kind of get to know producers that way. And so there's ways to do it. Yeah. You go tape. Like there's guys who go from tape to producer. Yeah. Honestly, and so you just have to find that avenue that's going to work best for you and where you want to do that. And so.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we've given like a lot of game today.
Yeah.
A lot of game to a lot of people. My last question is, if you did either talk to a student or someone who's starting off in this business, or even just like a random person who might be interested, what would you tell them as far as like, one, how to go about this business, or two, if they should go into this business?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good business. If you love sports, if you just want to see how everything works, like this is a great way to just like check it out, be a runner for sure or whatever, and see how things work and see if it's something you want to do. I think it's a great business to be in. Mm-hmm. I think it's hard with a family, but it's definitely something you can do. Yeah. I think, it's all about networking.
Totally.
Like I said earlier, it's say yes, say yes, say yes, and then get the work, and then show them that you can do it. But you have to want to grind, and you have to want to work, and the days are long. Like,
yeah, they are.
If you're doing a big network show, it's a 16-hour day.
Sheesh.
It's a long day, and you have to be willing to work. And like, if you're doing some of those bigger shows, you're not always going to be home for Christmas or for Thanksgiving or for any of those games. Yeah. You just got to make it work. Totally. And so, if you have a family, you got to make sure that they know, I might not be home. Like, it is what, this is my show. This is what I do. I worked with this dude, and his wife would, every Christmas, she would pack up the car and drive his 3 daughters to whatever city he was in for the Christmas game for NBA.
Wow.
And they would hold Christmas at the hotel.
Wow.
And that's the kind of sacrifices that people do make in order to make it work. But like, you have to be willing to like say yes.
Wow. That's, yeah. No, I mean, I co-sign, but that's a wild story. I mean, that's the lengths that it goes though. You know what I mean? Like when you are in the business. So that's the sacrifice that must be made, you know? So, well, I want to wrap up by saying I really appreciate you doing this with me. This is obviously my first time doing this. I'm kind of a rookie, just shooting my shot out here, trying to get it wet. You know what I mean? Like, but I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you telling them, being open and telling your story and talking about things that I think people really want to hear, but also need to hear. So yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah,
and,
man.
I'll see you. Tomorrow at work.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Until next time. See y'all later.